Don't beat yourself up. Leave that to me. That was a joke.
Thanks.
Pathfinder is a Marvin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. My name is Zero, and today I'll be checking out every Apex Legend. Now, what do I know about Apex? Basically nothing. I know that it's like a shooter game, and then you drop down, you collect items. Yeah. I don't really play those kind of games. However, this set of videos was suggested to me by the members on the Discord, and personally, I really enjoy discovering new video game lore, or like video game adjacent lore. So I think I'm going to be checking out these two videos by Bricky, who is an amazing content creator who you should definitely go and support. The link to both of these videos will be at the very top of the description. I highly suggest you go over there, watch the original video, and leave a like and subscribe to his channel. Bricky's kind of the guy who got me into Warhammer 40k, and by extension into Warhammer Fantasy. So will he get me into Apex as well? I suppose we'll just have to wait and see.
You know what's been a meme on my channel for a while? Forehead meme. I don't mind it. It's cool. It's big. It's shiny. You know I get to flaunt it. You can land the C-130. I'm a human airstrip. I get it. But you know who else gets it? The sponsor of today's video, Gamer Subs.
There it is.
They were on my
Gamer
Subverse
Subs.
video, which was, of course, a review of a porn game, and they said, go ahead, do it. We don't care. It's fine.
Yeah.
And you guys appreciate that so much, and you bought so much that they have actually considered that now will be the time to work on a Gamer Subs Bricky Shaker Cup. Now, it all entirely depends on how well this video does in terms of the Gamer Subs sales.
It is Bricky's video after
we are
all.
currently in the design phase for it, and I had the idea that similar to their waifu shaker cups, where you can have like the see-through bra, which can change color depending on the flavor, we can do a fantastic, horrifying-looking Bricky anime one with a big-ass forehead that's see-through, and it's just cursed enough to be genius. Also, they're running a deal where if you spend over $30, you get free shipping. You want to know how much a tub is? $30. A little over $30. So if you want to support me and you want to get a Bricky Shaker Cup in your life, check out the link in the description. Use code Bricky, and if you ever buy more because you're out of your original one, make sure you use code Bricky on that as well, either for a discount or free shipping, and also because then I get the money for you buying it, and I like cash. So thank you, Gamer Subs, very much for sponsoring this, and let's talk about Apex. Hello everybody, my name is Bricky, currently having existential thoughts from stealing from that Marvin in Titanfall 2. Therapy hasn't helped. A bit ago, I made this video. It did well.
You did? Yeah. It was an incredible video.
Just a little. I was thinking about making another one. You know, it's kind of fun, cover different kinds of topics. Another Warhammer one? No, I'm on Adeptus Ridiculous, so I'm not really like needing anything like that. What should I make something on? And I thought, well, what's something I'm doing a lot of right now? Apex. And Titanfall, but Apex. You know what's pretty hot right now? Apex. Should I do an every single legend in a nutshell video for Apex? I think I should. Apex is soaring to the moon in popularity right now, both for me and for so many other people. They are hot, hot, hot.
I don't know how it's doing currently. I haven't really been keeping up with it. But I mean, people do still talk about it and play it and stream it, so it's probably doing okay
right now, and I thought it was a perfect time to go ahead and bring back the little nutshell video style on something that is, well, not only really relevant, but I think something that's kind of perfect for it. See, for me, I played Titanfall 1. I stayed up late at night at an old GameStop midnight release. Remember those? I do. It was a school day the day after.
That... Times have really changed, haven't they? I remember hearing about Titanfall 1, and I believe there's also Titanfall 2, and they're actually like really good games. They weren't really my kind of game. I was just sitting there at home playing XCOM. But I've heard they were good. Does he mention Titanfall because it's connected to Apex somehow? I don't know any of the lore here.
That I suffered for a little bit of Titanfall 1. I enjoyed it, didn't play it a huge amount, enjoyed it regardless. Titanfall 2 came out, oh my god, what an insanely good game, can't speak highly of it, oh my god, it's fantastic. Apex came out, played it, really liked it, stopped playing it, played it a little bit more, started to not like it, turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off, you know, Loba came out, turned on, goes to Season 8, Fuse comes out, hey, Apex is looking pretty good again, and now Apex is looking really good again. Big Titanfall fan in me sees Valkyrie as Viper's daughter. Viper doesn't really have a huge role in Titanfall 2, but was a very memorable character in a very memorable boss fight. Okay, we got Ashes returning, there's new game mode, there's new weapons, everything's going crazy. Right now, it feels like a great time to play Apex. But Bricky, you may ask, I don't play Apex much, and I don't understand Apex. What are the Apex games, and who are the people in them? That's what I'm here to help you out with. I'm going to give you an every single Apex Legend in a nutshell video, go through the first half of the Legends, because I want to save the second half for when Valkyrie comes out, and tell you more about the Apex games and the Titanfall lore that surrounds it. So with that said, let's talk about the Apex games and how it all came about. Our sci-fi story takes place in the Frontier, a collection of planets and solar systems far out into the reaches of the galaxy. Initially, this was colonized by the Interstellar Manufacturing Corporation, also known as the IMC. And the IMC made some pretty crazy strides in the fields of both space travel and in different kinds of technology, between the Marvin robots, the eventual creation of the gigantic Titan chassis, which wasn't always a military vehicle. Titans were originally used for many other things, like the loaders and aliens, being able to move things around, agriculture, even some science.
Yeah, it reminds me of, well, I forget exactly what they were. Weren't they also kind of called Titans in Warhammer? The big giant robot knight things that used to be basically farming tools, but then they were repurposed during the 40K, essentially.
Stuff in areas that deemed a little too dangerous for regular people. But of course, as you will soon see, there'll be plenty of uses for military soon. The IMC was making headway. They were terraforming planets, creating colonies. They even had a GI Bill for men and women to have homes given to them for their military service on these new frontier planets. As much of a contradiction as it is, the IMC was being a pretty great mega corporation at the time. Fortunately, the people back at Earth, or also known as the core worlds, weren't too pleased with all of the attention that the frontier worlds were getting by the IMC. It started off with just some annoyances, then riots, to a full-blown civil war of the core worlds. This had the
I see. It's kind of a classic in really any kind of space sci-fi show, where the people on Earth are going to be at war with the people in space because of the difference in power and resources, because space just can offer so much more than what the current solar system contains, right? You could say that it's like an overused trope, but it's also extremely realistic, and I don't really see it going any other way if space travel did actually become like a prevalent thing. The show itself has a few rough spots and kind of a rough beginning, but I would still highly recommend, if you were interested in any of this kind of like a storytelling, then make sure to check out Planetes. It's by the same creator as Vinland Saga. As I said, like, the first half it's not so good, but the latter half is incredible. If you're ever looking for a show to watch, then yeah, try and check it out.
IMC drop everything in the frontier worlds, abandon all of their colonies and all of their people, and skedaddle back. 30 or so years later, with the Civil War ended, the IMC came back to the frontier, where they found that their colonies had not just survived, but fully thrived. Everyone there had resources aplenty, land aplenty, people were happy, they were employed, they were working hard, each of the planets were operating at excellent capacity, things were better than the IMC could ever have hoped for. So you know what they did? They said, we set this up, therefore we claim authority and claim ownership of.
There it is. I was like, yeah, that keyword mega corporation. Does it ever really end well in any series ever? Or in reality? I don't think so.
All these planets, give us your shit. We set these up, so we stake claim to your resources,
time to repurpose things for war,
and your homes. And they went and they sucked it dry. A militia, the Frontier Militia, of course, rose up to fight the IMC. And in this time, it was damn hard. The IMC, of course, were the people who created the jump drive to even go faster than light to begin with. They were significantly more powerful in military and tech. But the militia, using guerrilla tactics, being really smart, even getting some defectors and even Titan pilots from the IMC, were able to start building up their own little militia force. And it wasn't until the end of Titanfall 1, which was the Battle of Demeter, when things really turned, when the militia was able to take on an IMC refueling station back to the core worlds, heavily crippling their military and their movement potential. Move on over to Titanfall 2. The Frontier Militia versus IMC wars are still going on. However, they're a lot more equal match now due to that Battle of Demeter. There's a lot more of like an organized force. This is turning into a real army. not just a militia. The events of Titanfall 2 took place, large amounts of battles in between each other, eventually the IMC attempting to literally commit genocide on one of the militia worlds through the use of something called a fold weapon, which was old alien technology that was, you know, kind of lost. Not really important. Play Titanfall 2, it's a fantastic campaign. Point being, during this time, Cuban Blisk, who was the leader of the Apex Predators mercenary pilot group, was serving the IMC at the time, or, you know, being paid by the IMC to help them fight off the militia. Once all is done and done, Cuban Blisk, of course, pops his little card over to Jack Cooper, your main character, and then bails because he's a mercenary. He's there to make money. He doesn't really give a shit. Point being,
Apex?
full weapon destroyed, IMC and militia war over. IMC massively devastated by this. Militia massively devastated. Truth be told, both of them were just, it was like two boxers fainting at the end of a fight.
So it was the reality of war.
Completely destroyed both their armies, resources, and honestly their will to keep going. Unfortunately, the entire frontier was left massacred by this war. And as things are building up, as we are a couple decades after the end of the major frontier wars, there was an area that was mostly untapped, known as the Outlands. And in the Outlands, you had more of a lawless style to it. The resources weren't as plentiful, but there was plenty of space for work and for crime. Cuban Bliss decided that a good way to get everyone rallying behind one banner and to get a little bit less of a Mad Max feel out there is to create a televised blood sport known as, originally the Apex Predators mercenary group, the Apex Games. This would be a perfect outlet for all of the anger, either from the war or just from all the different kinds of crime syndicates and groups out here in the Outlands. And it'll be stationed in the Outlands, starting off with Kings Canyon as a major way to get different kinds of people to go in, fight for whatever they want, money, fame, personal reasons, and overall televise it across the Outlands and the frontier to make it not only something that's profitable, but a spectacle. And that's where our story takes place.
Okay. It's all coming together now. I guess no matter how many years pass, people still love watching other people commit violent acts against each other. I mean, it's prevalent in video games, and then obviously like the Colosseum back in Rome. But this is an interesting way to utilize the universe that they created with the Titanfall games. Obviously, because of how massive the scope is, considering that, you know, there's like interspace travel and whatnot, then you could certainly very easily come up with a lore reason to create a different kind of game to the usual Titanfall stuff.
As a call sign, Wraith, Gibraltar, Caustic, Octane. These aren't their real names, these are simply their names in the Apex games. And a lot of people ask, you know, if this is a blood sport, do Apex Legends actually die? Hasn't really totally been answered yet, but we're assuming they're like cloned, or these are clones that go out, they fight in the arena, and of course then once they're dead, they go to like a respawn chamber and they still have all the memories. The thing is that like, even if there's very little risk of dying, which apparently is only little risk, because apparently it does happen, regardless, you're still getting shot, burned, electrocuted, and bludgeoned to death every single time. That trauma alone would get most people very uninterested in being in the Apex games, but not for these legends. No, that's why they are called
I guess they're Apex all crazy
Legends. And with that, we have our first Apex legend.
I am owed no gratitude. The gods, however.
Bloodhound is a tracker, a hunter, and someone who decides to combine both the old ways of hunting with the new technology that they find. Orphaned after a meltdown in a facility killed both of their parents, they were taken in by their uncle, Uncle Arthur.
Wait, do all of these legends have like a small cinematic backstory for them? Kind of like how League of Legends has some cinematics for certain characters and stuff like that. As I said, haven't been in this circle at all, so I don't know anything.
Arthur. He wished to relearn the old ways and reject the modern technology that caused their parents' death to begin with. Arthur was killed during the final trial of Bloodhound's like spiritual acceptance, so to speak, and through the use of both modern and old ways, Bloodhound was able to kill the monster that killed their uncle and therefore re-embrace both the old and the new technology. What is their real name? We don't know. Why do they fight? We don't know. But regardless, they are a mysterious, interesting tracking character that have joined the Apex games for one reason or another, and is very, very good at their job. Bloodhound's passive lets them see anything and everything where people are going, where they've been, if they've done stuff, if they've taken a shit in the corner. It doesn't matter, they're a hunter. Hunters.
Gotcha.
Their active lets them see stuff through walls, different kinds of players, traps, etc. And their ultimate lets them do that X10 while also schmooving at Mach 5 and having a much lower cooldown of their active. And highlighting enemies, because, you know, why not? Bloodhound is for the info gatherer who wants to fight. It's very hard to be snuck up on when you're playing Bloodhound. Bloodhound is very good at tracking enemies, knowing where they're going, knowing how they're going, and also stopping any kind of flank in their tracks. That Q, you just pull out your wrist, you go. No one's good.
I mean, I could imagine any pro player or, well, really any decent player who's playing this particular character would be able to utilize all this information incredibly well, because I feel like if you bring two players with the same skill level into a fight against each other, the person with the most information is likely going to be the one who wins. So yeah, this is a pretty strong start. I don't know how the other characters are going to match up to this, but they probably have their own crazy abilities, like, who knows, going invisible or turning back time.
To sneak up on you, okay? You are the hunter. The hunter does not get hunted. There is no team that will say no to a Bloodhound. There is no reason to say no to a Bloodhound. Because not
it's just
only
more
are you
information.
good at tracking, not only can you see people through walls, but
Oh wait, do your teammates also see it? Because I believe, from what the little that I know, you can drop down in teams of 3. So yeah, that would just mean more information for everybody.
But then, when it's time, you can just call upon the Allfather and then just get this surge through your veins and move faster, see people through God knows what, and overall just become a slight demigod for a short period of time. Bloodhound, when you hear that loud just screech noise with their ultimate, oh, it's a little scary, as if the blazing red eyes wasn't enough. You're the team player, you're the info gatherer, and you're the person who can maybe 1v3 with that ultimate if you're good enough. Bloodhound and Bloodhound mains are definitely people who know every which way about them. They'll never be outflanked, they'll never be flanked, and they'll always be ready to turn on the jets and completely massacre a team.
Can't help but to compliment myself.
Makoa Gibraltar is a big man with a big heart and a bit of a wild side. He's part of Ceres, which is the Search and Rescue Association of Solace. Basically, he's the kind of guy you get whenever you are in a bad spot and you need someone to help you out. His whole character is helping people. A long time ago, he and his BFG, that's boyfriend Gibraltar, took his dad's motorcycle, and by took I mean stolen, and then crashed it after a giant mudslide happened, which forced both of his parents to help get him out with his father, losing an arm in the process. Ever since then, he's been feeling guilty about that, and he has dedicated his entire life to helping people. A lot of his friends, however, have gone out to the Apex games for whatever reason, but never ever ended up returning, and he can't stomach that. So Gibraltar, to satisfy a little bit of his wild side, but most importantly, to make sure his friends stay protected at all times, has joined the Apex games to make sure that he can still help people, but, you know, in his own way. Passive-wise, Gibby's got Rainbow Six PTSD. Big old gun shield when you aim down sights. Fuck Blackbeard. His active is a giant dome shield that you can throw out, blocks all kinds of bullets, projectiles, and everything the like, but it will not stop players, and you can revive your boys a little bit faster when you're in it. And also, his ultimate is a defensive bombardment, because apparently an orbital airstrike is defensive. Also, you know, Gibby's a big man with a big personality, so he takes 15% less damage, and you know, he can't be slowed by bullets, because why not?
Oh, that's... Hey, I love playing as tanks. I usually play as tanks in any MMORPG I play with friends, so yeah, maybe this is for me. And I mean, I mained Shen top lane back when I was playing League of Legends, so this very much sounds like the Shen, essentially, of this game. The orbital laser kind of sounds a little bit funny, but then again, it's also a great ability to get people outside of like a defensive position. I guess it makes sense if you want to be the one defending and forcing them to attack you, right?
Gibraltar is a defensive legend through and through. You can't have a bad time playing Gibraltar. His personality is too much fun. He's a big boy and he takes a ton of damage and he helps out your team in all sorts of ways. He's always got something for the job, whether that's taking some bullets with either his fortified ability or the big old gun shield, whether that's reviving your teammates easier with a gigantic barrier, well, it's just using that barrier in all kinds of ways. Or, you know, hey, that person over there, I don't want them to be in there. They're not gonna be there no more. Gibby is for those who want to help the team. Not through sneaky tricks, not through weird information gathering, and not even through trying to heal other people in their own way. No, Gibby helps the team by taking his big chunky body and throwing it in the way of the bullets or in various ways such as that.
I can
the
do
man
that.
blasts you with a gun shield, he throws a dome out, revives you, eats a Loco Moco in one bite, and he's ready for more. Gibraltar mains are all of that. They're there for their friends, they're tough, they know it, and they know how to flex it. They know that the entire time they're downing your health bar, you're going through 15% damage reduction, an arm shield, a dome, and the sheer size of this man's cock that is only matched by the size of his personality.
Thank you. You made me just a little bit better.
Lifeline, or AJ Shea, is the only person that has that sheer level of kindness that Gibraltar has, but in a different way. She was the daughter of two very wealthy war profiteers, and when she found out why they had so much money, she immediately bailed to become a hippie and join the Peace Corps. Basically, she's in the Apex version of a Peace Corps, a humanitarian organization meant to help those who are in need, whether natural disasters or poverty, etc. You know what I'm talking about. Why is she in the Apex games? Well, you know, the people who sign up for the Apex games aren't entirely innocent, and they know what they signed up for. That is true. And you know, maybe AJ Shea might have a little bit of a wild side, but if she can go and use all that money she gets as an Apex legend to fund the humanitarian organization, she has no qualms with that. All the money she makes, she gives it right back to the Peace Corps, right there to help as many more people as she possibly can, and you know, she gets to have a little fun while doing it. Passively, she creates this big old wall whenever she's reviving somebody in the direction that she's facing. Her active is a little drone that can revive people as well and can actually regenerate your health if possible. And also her ultimate giant lifeline care package. Huge thing from the sky giving you supplies and upgrades that you might need. Lifeline is a support character through and through. And while Gibby throws himself in the way of the bullets, good old Lifeline does all the other medic type stuff. She's the dedicated healer class, the dedicated reviving class, and hell, if you need some more gear, why not? She is a fine addition, a great addition to every single team. So why does every single person who has to play her act like such chodes? This is the selfless character, the healer, the one who gives all of her money to humanitarian organizations, and yet the people who play her are the sweatiest, most try-hard, most ridiculously toxic people out there. It's kind of funny though, because you play Lifeline, and she's like the definition of call an ambulance, but not for me. And she's doing all of her healing, but then she rolls up with a tiny little hitbox, sliding down her knees with a Peacekeeper, going Mach 5, one-tapping me in the head and using the money that she made to kill me to go build schools in Detroit. I don't want to be used for Detroit. Play Lifeline if you want to heal, you want to be kind, you want to be good to people, but if you call yourself a Lifeline main, we have truly lost you.
I think Ricky's probably just had some bad experiences. To any of you guys who play Apex, is this still true? I would kind of assume so. Just from my personal experience with like supports in League of Legends, being like the sweatiest player on the team. But then they're like, you know, playing Soraka. Although, to be fair to any support mains out there, your job is incredibly important. Any good support can like literally change the flow of an entire game and basically decide the game. Is Lifeline for me? Probably not. Not much of a healer player. Yeah, just play tank. Also, Pathfinder, reading some D&D in here?
Don't beat yourself up. Leave that to me. That was a joke.
Thanks.
Pathfinder is a Marvin. It's a robot, basically. He woke 33 years ago with no idea who he was or who made him. And as he's making his way around doing different odd jobs, he thought that the number one most important thing for him is to find out who created him. Working these little odd jobs, he got into a little tussle with some of the local law enforcement. There's a whole cinematic on that. I'm going to paraphrase it really quick, but long story short, via his databanks and all, he was created by Amelia P. We don't know exactly who that is. However, she referred to him as one of the greatest inventions and our Pathfinder. Hence the name. He now serves in the games with this beautiful, bright personality, hoping that whoever created him will see him big and famous and go back to see him. Passive-wise, the man can scan survey beacons to find where the next ring is, but more importantly, it actually refills his ultimate cooldown and lower.
Okay, yeah, it is kind of like Fortnite, right? Where there's rings, you get dropped into the arena, but then as time passes, you have to go inside or else you take massive amounts of damage. Yeah, okay, I get you.
Its overall cooldown for the rest of the game. Pathfinder's active is a big old grapple hook that lets him fling his ass all around the place, and his ultimate is a zip line, allowing you to zip to basically anywhere on the map. Pathfinder,
okay.
It's got a great personality.
Oh, wait, of course. Dude, Pathfinder. It just makes sense, yeah. He's the guy that finds a path regardless of the terrain.
What he has. He is positivity incarnate. He is happy to be around. He likes people. He wishes people like him. Some do, some don't. Not important. He shows them the same respect every single time, and it's always hilarious whenever he says something that might be considered rather rude, but he thinks is just the nicest compliment.
Losing isn't fun. That's why I don't do it.
Pathfinder really is that mobile legend, probably one of the most mobile legends in the entire game. He has the ability to survey, get to high places, get to low places, fling himself at Mach 7 speeds. He truly is a very fast, very versatile legend that can do quite a bit. The grapple is constantly being sent to its limits with all the craziness that it can accomplish. The zip line can be launched in so many different areas.
I can already imagine, like, the pro players using the grapple hook to pull off some funky shots midair somehow. I wonder what the bullet spread is like, because from the gameplay that I've seen here, this definitely looks like a movement shooter. So maybe it's not as bad, especially if you're playing Pathfinder specifically, that you can likely still aim while you're grappling through the air. This is just like things I couldn't imagine from the brief stint where I played Valorant.
Areas, and honestly, there's never a time where having a Pathfinder on your team is ever a bad thing. Pathfinder mains generally know every spot, every nook and cranny that they can use that zipline in. They know exactly how to press Q one time and go from caustic treatment to the damn artillery in one go, because somehow they keep on gaining more distance every time they use that Q, and I don't know how they break the engine that easily. Pathfinder mains really just took a lot of advice from our man Viper.
You need to move a little faster than that, son. Speed is life.
They know exactly how to get the most out of their abilities. They are either in
I'm assuming Viper was a character from one of the Titanfall games.
insane mathematicians, or they have way too much space in their head to memorize every single crazy zip line and grapple that they can do. You want to schmoove? You play Pathfinder.
This is what happens when you're not focused.
Wraith, or Renee Hope Blazy? No, yeah, that's what I have. Subject 61137 is also the name. She woke up in a detention facility for the mentally ill ran by the IMC with absolutely no memory of her previous life. And she constantly was berated by other versions of herself speaking in her mind, driving her absolutely insane. Right before she was about to be sedated, another version of herself actually showed up and was telling her to instead trust the voices in her head.
Oh, wait, no. Okay, maybe it's some sort of, multi-dimensional thing. Maybe she can open up portals to go to a different area of the map, but with the multiple versions of herself, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
As they were other variations of herself from different kinds of dimensions, similar to the one that she was currently talking to. This Wraith's entire goal was to get revenge on the people who wronged her and to also retrieve her memories. So Wraith actually, after escaping and trusting the voices in her head, is entirely dedicated to finding the truth about herself and finding those who wronged her via the Apex games, because after every single game, she's one step closer to the truth. Now, Wraith is a very interesting one because of the Titanfall connections, because in Titanfall, there's actually a pilot known as a phase shift pilot. The Ronin Titan also has a similar ability that allows them to transfer between dimensions for a short period of time to make sure that they don't have any issues. However, these phase shift pilots were always robots. They were always simulacrums. It was a human mind uploaded into a robot body. So considering that Wraith, this is many decades later, can do this to a certain extent with her Q and her portal ability, well, it begs the question that actually Wraith might have been the first or one of the first tests of a human-based phase shift pilot gone very fucking wrong, which could mean that she was actually a pilot, like a military pilot way back in the day. But obviously, if she still retained that training, she would slaughter everyone in Apex Legends. So either she lost it due to her memory loss, or she was a different kind of pilot, perhaps a scientific one.
I guess when it comes to power scaling, the pilots are just like top of the top, best of the best.
As for Wraith herself, her passive allows her to have people whispering to her whenever danger is afoot, whenever someone is about to snipe her, or perhaps a trap is around the corner, she'll have little other versions of herself warning her about stuff. Her active allows her to enter into a different dimension and be completely untargetable, but kind of seen with a little trail as she moves across the terrain. And then her ultimate is a giant two-way portal that allows her and her teammates, as well as the enemies, to go back and forth between to allow for some extra movement. Oh, Wraith.
Gotcha.
Oh, Wraith. I think Wraith probably has a worse name to herself now than she actually deserves, but it's kind of like when you were bullied as a kid and the bully is grown up now and, you know, he's a little bit better, he's going into rehab and everything, but you still just want to twist his nuts because he was just such an asshole. That's Wraith right now. Wraith as a character is actually pretty good. She has a small hitbox, which is of course very helpful, and she's got some good abilities, knowing when you're gonna get shot at, being able to maneuver between areas by being untargetable, which is very strong, and that portal provides a lot of flexibility, either to get you into an enemy position, or better yet, to get you out of a bad one. Problem is, for a long time, no one gave a shit about these abilities because you played Wraith almost entirely because of her small hitbox, and therefore she was able to be used by demigod aim bros, very similar to Ashe from Rainbow Six Siege. It's not because the character's abilities are fantastic.
Well, not that I know anything about Rainbow Six Siege, but I understand hitboxes and whatnot. I mean, even as a Total War Warhammer player, the smaller your hitbox, the better. I feel like this is one of those characters where pro players would be really good at placing ultimates in the most advantageous way, whereas somebody who's probably new to the character will potentially benefit the enemy more than their allies. But regardless, the smaller hitbox kind of applies universally.
It's because the character's got a weird and wonky hitbox, and it allows you to be great with their weapons. Wraith, in terms of the game, is a good offensive legend. The hitbox is still small, and she can still make her way around and move pretty well with everything. And you know what? If you want to be that kind of person and play Wraith, god damn it, God bless you, you do it. But obviously, between the Naruto run, between the fact that it was used by the worst TTV in-name people of all time, Wraith mains have a huge stigma of being toxic as fuck, and it is entirely not that false. I think a lot of them have started to move their way off towards Octane and Horizon after Wraith has seen many nerfs, but even so, the name is a little bit tarnished. So if you are going to be a Wraith main, don't leave the moment you get downed, don't flame your team, try to fix the name, because as far as I'm concerned, Wraith is a perfectly fine legend, but y'all fucked it up. So yeah.
Okay, there it is. For any of you guys who know anything about Valorant, is this potentially a similar situation as to like Jet mains? I don't know how it is now, but I remember a bunch of Jet mains being incredibly toxic. And I mean, they're also like, you know, offensive agents as well, and they're kind of kind of give off a similar feel. I don't know. That's just what I thought.
It's not what Oscar Mike Know what? Never mind.
Bangalore, also known as Anita Williams, is an ex-IMC grunt. And yes, when I say ex-IMC grunt, I am talking about these guys. Which isn't entirely fair because she is a little bit better. She's actually top.
Hopefully she's better. Imagine bringing the lowest level grunt into an Apex Legends game. Yeah, I don't think so.
of her class. She's very good grunt. She's a good grunt, but you know, just a reminder the discrepancy between pilots and regular soldiers. She's part of a military family. All four of her older brothers, also big military personnel, just like herself. And then during one of the missions, one of their IMC craft went under fire, and then her older brother, Jackie, actually shielded her from the explosion, and a giant piece of the ship was torn up, and he was sucked right out into the vacuum of space, never to be seen again. Ever since then, their ship crash landed, and Bangalore's been looking for work every which way. She still believes that her brother Jackie is still alive, and he's been gone for a decade, and he's just out there somewhere, eventually ready to come home. I don't say, you lady. But her main goal for joining the Apex games is entirely for money. She wants to make enough money to be able to head back to meet her parents once again, to get back to her family, because hiring a pilot and a ship to send her back to her family is very expensive. Also,
I mean, fair enough.
I mean, I get that this is a little bit after the events of Titanfall 2, but you know, I mean, we talk about Revenant and like Caustic as being really bad guys and all, but Bangalore was part of the organization that was like, whoa, genocide! Not cool, lady. Now, Bangalore's passive allows her to move a lot faster when she is shot or shot at. Gives her a little bit of an extra speed boost to help out. Her active is a big smoke launcher. Does exactly what a smoke launcher does. And her ultimate is this giant rolling thunder. It's a huge car bomb of bombs, which doesn't do a lot of damage, but absolutely will disorient and cause problems for the people caught in it. Bangalore is your jack of all trades character, as far as I'm concerned. She's your most vanilla, but honestly, considering how jack of all trades characters work in so many other games, she's got a decent amount of personality. Her thing with her brother is interesting. She's kind of a bitch, but you know, hard-ass military person. All of her family has been gone forever and possibly dead, and she's got a little bit of an issue with accepting that. So, you know, you can understand it to a certain extent. But
she doesn't have a lot of room in her heart left for compassion. She just needs to get the money and get out of here. Yeah, I get you.
But honestly, as far as jack of all trades characters go, she's pretty solid. She's decently fleshed out. A little bit of a speed boost when you're being shot at, which is helpful. It gives you some security and a little bit of strafing. A smoke grenade, which is great at both offense and defense, either covering an escape or covering an advance. And of course, if you want somebody to get the fuck out of here, a bunch of bombs tends to do a damn good job at it. Bangalore also gives you way too much information about way too much crap on the weapons that you ping. She always constantly talks about, oh, this gun is really good at semi-automatic, high power, high velocity, triple shot.
I guess she's just a gun nut. She did work as a grunt before, so she probably seen her fair share of weapons. I don't know. I mean, isn't that kind of like the lowest position possible? But I guess it also depends on what kind of military training they go through.
Two to the body, one to the head. Mozambique here. I don't care, but there's nothing wrong with Bangalore. I always say that Bangalore is the best starting character for new players. She is good at her job. Really? There's nothing weird or gimmicky about her. And also, you know,
the more balanced characters are usually
pinging those things is actually pretty helpful for new players. So I appreciate she's there. I wish you would stop telling me what a Mozambique does every single time. But besides that, get your smokes, get your bombs. Bangalore is a good choice for those new players.
It's simple, really. I'm just better than you.
Caustic?
Is this Viper of this game? I'm gonna assume just straight from the design. Smoke, poison.
Or Dr. Alexander Maxwell Knox III, Esquire, heir to the throne of long fucking names, is a scientist, loosely. He works for Humbert Labs. It's a pesticide company, and they help provide pesticides for all kinds of plants in the frontier. And considering, you know, how much crops you gotta grow and all these different kinds of plants and all different kinds of pests, you're really going to end up needing quite an increase in the power of the pesticides. So Mr. Caustic is really keen on figuring out how to make stronger and stronger pesticides. But of course, just some regular tissue isn't quite enough to really show the effects of these gases. He needs something living. So for a while, he toiled with his experiments until, for once, the corporation did the right thing, and the main chief at Dr. Humbert Labs decided to go confront him about, like, hey, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, I guess that didn't end well.
This confrontation led with the entire lab completely in flames, the chief guy of Dr. Humbert Labs dead as fuck, and Caustic presumed dead as well. Of course, now Mr. Caustic is in the Apex games, trying to find newer and more willing subjects to test his interesting gases on. Passively, Caustic is immune to his own stank, and he also doesn't have any vision impairment, and he can see enemies that are inside of his fart clouds. His Q is a trap that's placed, you walk next to it, giant cloud of gas, it smells bad, hurts you, does health damage, blinds you, can't sprint, all the debilitating factors. And his ultimate is just a big canned fart grenade that you just, whoa! Caustic also has that big chunk energy that Gibraltar has, so 15% less damage and also immune to slowing bullets. Caustic is an interesting character. For a long time, he was pretty mediocre. Actually, probably the worst legend in the game. And then he became...
I mean, this is kind of the same situation as Viper from Valorant. Like, she's just not that great until people figured out how to use her. I wonder what it is about the smoke characters or the poison characters that just, it takes a bit. It's probably because they're just, they can be used ineffectively very easily. Either that or the numbers just weren't good in terms of like the damage output.
Good, and then he became overpowered as hell, and then they just recently nerfed him, which everyone says he's trash now. I disagree. Like, boo-hoo, your tactical can't 100 to 0 somebody. That's not the point of the game. That's not the point of Caustic. Caustic is a manipulation character. Caustic makes it so that if you're in any hallway, any door, any enclosed space, he makes you very unhappy that you're there with a Caustic. Caustic is about taking the enemies and forcing them to go down the sadistic rabbit hole that you've led them through. You just love those tight corners. You love those enclosed spaces. You gotta take everyone down to Bunker and King's Canyon, or perhaps one of the more frightening areas on Olympus, like the giant carrier ship. There are so many areas where Caustic can just set up a giant maze of traps.
Wait, what is that? Okay. I noticed this earlier as well with Lifeline, I believe her name was, that there was like a special animation. I guess that's a special animation as a finisher, which I guess makes sense because this is a broadcasted like TV show for entertainment, so you would want to get those close-ups of the fatalities. I wonder if that kind of just locks you in place. Do you get anything as a bonus from doing that? Is that necessary to eliminate somebody instead of just knocking them down?
And that debilitation, that vision, that sprint, all of that stuff, it's not about the damage, it's about the fact that they just can't do anything when you're there causing them issues. That's what makes Caustic really good. It's to force people.
Okay, yeah, no, it's not necessary to eliminate them. I guess you can do it.
To move around areas. If you like manipulating enemies, if you like making sure that they go where you want them to go, not where they get the choice to, that's Caustic. Caustic mains know every corner, every single thing where they can hide a trap, where they can sneak a little gas bomb. They know exactly that you're gonna move left, and guess what? They've got traps all the way over there, and if you move right, well, that's what that ultimate's for. Caustic is entirely about playing that long game. He's about studying your little prey on the bottom there. Are Caustic mains sadistic? Yes, that's fine. I don't main Caustic. People who do, I keep 6 feet away from them. I'm a social distance from that stank, but
I guess it's good that the character themselves kind of fit the playstyle and it encourages the playstyle that fits the character. That's just good design in my opinion, as long as they're balanced within the confines of a competitive shooter.
Honestly, Caustic is a really interesting move manipulation character. The gas doesn't do as much damage as it used to. Who cares? The moment someone gets hit by that shit, oh, they are ripe for the picking.
Yeah, you lost this one, but it has nothing to do with your skills, because, well, I mean, you don't have any, clearly.
Mirage, or Elliot Witt, is the youngest of 4 brothers, born into kind of a slight military family, but only a little bit. His mother actually was the forefront of the Holo Pilot technology that you can see in Titanfall 2, and all of his brothers also served in the Frontier Wars as well. Mirage always has this personality quirk around him where he's always trying to be the life of the party, Mr. Big Man, everyone look at me, but in reality, that's more so a coping mechanism to cover up some low self-esteem and personal worth being the youngest brother. After all the talk and all the hype and all the silliness, deep down Mirage truly has a heart of gold. And when all 3 of his brothers never came back from the Frontier Wars, he decided to make money as a bartender for both himself and his mother, constantly looking at the Apex games, thinking to himself, that money, that fame, these are the kind of things that I'd be interested in, but there's no way that I'm gonna leave my mom without any kids. Until a package arrived on its doorstep with a fancy state-of-the-art Holo suit and a little letter that said, "Follow your dreams, son. Love, Mom." And now Mirage is out there for fame, for money.
Now he's doing this.
But really, he's there to be the life of the party, have fun, and make some money for his dear old mother. Mirage's passive allows him to go invisible whenever he's down and create this dramatic as-dying decoy right where he went down. He also goes invisible with his teammate when they're being revived, and he goes invisible whenever he is bringing someone back with a dropship. His active sends out a little clone in one direction that can mimic his movements if he so wishes, and anytime it is shot, it'll show on the map exactly where it is being shot from. And also his ultimate sends out like 5 separate Mirage clones that all mimic his motion in like a spiral style pattern while making him go invisible for about 1 second in the beginning. My boy, my bamboozle boy.
Oh, well, I see who Bricky mains. I wonder if, well, I mean, in most shooters, it's kind of important to have some good headphones because then you can hear like footsteps coming from a certain direction. So does Mirage's clones also have that effect? That you can trick your enemy into thinking that you're about to round a corner because they hear the footsteps, but you're actually in the other side of the room. I mean, that's cool. It's kind of like a deceptive kind of agent. Or, well, I should use terminology from this game, legend. Not really my style, but the people who are good at these kind of, well, characters are usually really hard to take down because you don't know if you're shooting the right one.
Bamboozle here, bamboozle. He's my boy. My boy, I love playing Mirage. A little bit of trivia for all of you, okay? Back in Titanfall 2 days, if you used the Holo Pilot, a lot of people consider Holo Pilot to be the worst choice of all the tacticals. But if you used it and you properly killed somebody through the use of the Holo Pilot, it was customary that either via mic or perhaps over the text or on a Reddit forum or whatever, you said, "Got a good bamboozle." It was called bamboozling people. So you know what the Apex guys did? They said, "Hey, we like that part of our community. Now we have a whole character that says bamboozle because they love saying bamboozle too much." And I think that maybe it was a little bit of the monkey's paw because holy Christ, does he say bamboozle a lot. But you know what? They keep spicing it up with the way he trips over his words, the way I trip over my words, and it's just a damn fun time. I love my man Mirage because
it's always nice when the devs like understand a particular part of their community is enjoying something or like creating a meme and they decide to incorporate it into the actual game in a respectful manner. Some devs don't do that.
The thing about Mirage is that, is he good? Not really. Will he ever be good? Probably not. Because there is no metric to determine how Mirage is good or not. Because Mirage is not only heavily involved with the skill of the player who plays him, but you can't quantify tricking somebody. Movement legends, you know, the ability to move around the map and get to places, and AD strafing perhaps, or damage dealing abilities. These are all things that be quantified, but you can't quantify tricking somebody because that entirely relies on the opponent making mistakes, and how much of the like chance they have to make that mistake is entirely dependent on how good you are as a Mirage player. So in a sense, Mirage could be great and terrible at the same time. That's the problem. So there's no way to truly quantify that. However, the thing about Mirage is that there is nothing more satisfying, okay? There is no such cock-throbbing ecstasy that is properly bamboozling somebody and killing them, okay? You're there, you're standing there, there's a big-ass chunky rock in front of you, there's an enemy on the other side. You fire a clone to the left and you walk to the right. And here's the options, right? Okay,
50-50
so now the opponent has a 50-50% chance to shoot the right one. If you're on equal terms and they shoot the wrong one, you're gonna win that gunfight. If they don't shoot the wrong one, well, you're back and forth depending on weapons and all that kind of stuff. But that option is absolutely there and prominent. The problem is that if the opponent is smart enough and doesn't attack any of these kinds of decoys, well, then you're just a legend with literally zero ability and also nothing to help your team because Mirage is unfortunately a little bit of a selfish legend. He doesn't really...
I mean, when it comes to characters that are designed in this way, that's kind of just how it is, right? The design is kind of heavily reliant on your opponent, and if you're just not doing well, then you don't exactly have the utility tools to assist your team. It could be really fun to play, and you can very much easily see like the setup for a awesome clip. But it's likely not gonna be your forefront choice if you're looking for like a reliable legend or a teammate.
They have any major things to help the team out besides that invisibility ability when it comes down to reviving people. Getting 3 kills and 7th place through proper bamboozling gives you such a massive high, more than getting 10 kills in 1st place. I kid you not. It is all about that fun factor. It is all about that satisfaction of truly bamboozling somebody, okay?
I mean, that's
there
great.
are a few things truly like it, and that's what you're playing Mirage for. You're not playing Mirage because he's good, because in a sense, he's not. You're not playing Mirage because he's easy, because he is absolutely not easy. He takes a ton of practice and figuring out other players, because you have to play your opponent, not just play the game. And it's like, you know, the way to say it, I don't know, it's the best way to say it. It's Mirage, okay? Tripping over your words is the Mirage thing. Shut up, fuck you. It's not about winning, and Mirage mains know this. I know this because I'm a Mirage main, okay? It's not about winning. It's about styling on you. You can leave with the gold trophy. That's fine. I'm leaving with your pride. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Once again, it's like a character that its design kind of makes you play it in the exact way that the character's personality would play it, right? Man's the life of the party, and he's there to have fun, but also get some big bucks and head back home to his mom. And just this first half, there's some really good designs overall, whether it's just visually or like gameplay wise. I could see why people are really enjoying the game. And now let's round off the roster with the second half of the Legends.
So I think I might have a plastic crack addiction. I've been listening to the Night Lords trilogy for 40K, and
what do you... Oh no.
I have a Lord Discordant now, but one of the luxuries...
Oh no. Bricky, why? I am so incredibly scared to get like one miniature for Warhammer. I mean, I kind of do want one. It would be kind of cool to just have it somewhere in your office, right? But once you get one, I feel like that's just the beginning of an entire floodgate. So the floodgates just open, and you just can't stop yourself. I'll hold on for as long as possible, my dudes, but I am afraid.
I've been having as of lately, whenever I've been painting or building any new models, is to not have to listen to these phenomenal audiobooks or just simply music and other stuff through my phone, which is why instead
today's sponsor,
I got this Kove speaker. This video is sponsored by Kove, and God bless that it is, because I freaking adore this.
I've never seen this before.
The sound quality that comes out of this, especially when you got those deep lows when you're listening to an audiobook or something, is just incredible. I'll go ahead and let you listen.
Peering into the darkness that a handheld lamp pack could only barely pierce. The beam of light lanced left and right, stabbing the gloom with weak illumination. Bare metal walls met her questing.
And what's even better, this guy can get really loud.
1 hour of Dogco? What? This is a thing?
There wasn't enough?
Oh my god.
You can have 2.
Double the DACA.
It's honestly fantastic, especially if you're doing any kind of painting or building or any
this
kind
is
of
what
hobbying,
green skin
because not
players
only does
sleep
it free
too.
up your ears and your head, but it allows it to be, you know, split into 2 so you can have it in different parts of the room, or if you've got multiple people working so it's not just coming out of one separate source. If you'd like to check out more about the Kove split speaker, you can check it out in the description, and you can get 67% or more off using the promo code and the link down below. Thank you very much for sponsoring me, Kove, and let's get into the video. Hello everybody, my name is Bricky, currently serving 10 to life for spending 20 grand on the chair Loba most recently sat on. This is part 2 of the Every Legend Explained in Apex Legends. If you haven't seen part 1, check the description or the card above me so you can watch that first.
Bricky.
That being said, when I first discussed those main Legends lore, I wanted to keep it a little bit, you know, simple, a little bit more of a condensed Cliff Notes version. However, I didn't really realize that their lore has been expanded on massively. I knew more was coming out, but I didn't think how far it went. For example, I didn't know why Bloodhound fought in the games originally. I now know that Bloodhound fights in the games so that their ex-lover Boone, who's recently died, can get into Valhalla by having Bloodhound compete to earn the favor of the gods.
For my love, for Boone, I assure we will meet in the halls of Valhalla.
That's fucking awesome. And I didn't know that because it's not anywhere. It's not on the legend bio. It's not even on the fucking wiki.
Is it just
the only place I was able to find this is if I, 1, was playing during the Bloodhound event, which I really wasn't, or 2, by finding a whole bunch of YouTube videos that explain it, which, I mean, give me a little bit of credit here. I don't really trust those very often because lots of lore YouTube videos are either speculation or kind of clickbait. But this is me saying, damn, I kind of fucked up. I didn't realize how far it had been continued and expanded on because it's not there in the places I was looking. So I gotta say, my apologies, my bad. Some of your characters I probably did a much more condensed or outdated version than it should have been, and hopefully I can rectify that by doing the new legends that I'm talking about today a lot more justice.
I mean, to be fair, whenever it comes to making a video like this, there's just so much that you have to go through that even the most well-researched video will have something that kind of falls through the gaps. Especially if it's like a speculative theory kind of video when it comes to video game lore, which was kind of the case when it came to Vati's earlier videos for Elden Ring. That there was just some things that had to be assumed and later on reconfirmed that it wasn't actually the case. It is interesting though that it's not readily available. None of this information was readily available on the official sites. I don't think there's any really like Apex Legend books around there or like any kind of lore adjacent stuff that you could check out apart from the cinematics. Perhaps by now they do potentially have that, but yeah.
So with that being said, luckily for me, our first legend that we're talking about is much easier to describe, and that's our boy, Octane.
I saw someone, and I don't think they're selling cookies.
Octavio Silva, which is one of the coolest names ever, is a speed freak, a thrill seeker, any title you want to give to a person who just loves...
I see. He injects himself with kind of like stimulants, and then he basically becomes Scout from Team Fortress 2. I should have guessed based off just the character design, really.
Doing death-defying stunts.
He can run on water
alone. He was born an heir to the Silva Pharmaceutical Company, and one day he just kind of got bored. Really bored. He decided he wanted to live life performing these death-defying stunts. He wanted to be a thrill seeker. He wanted to do crazy things, and he wanted to post it on the whatever Apex's version of the internet is for adoring fans to gawk over. He loved it, every second of it. It was like a drug to him. In fact, he went so far to the point where he decided to set a record at the local gauntlet by doing something that Titanfall fans will remember very well: grenade boosting in real life. Octavio Silva set the world record at that gauntlet by blowing his own legs off with a frag grenade. And when the doctor said that his death-defying, thrill-seeking stunt days were over because he has no usable legs, he turned to his friend AJ Shea, who, or at least I thought was a friend, but instead guilt-tripped her into having her fashion him a new set of legs.
Of course.
So now he is part of the most thrilling event in the galaxy, the Apex Games, because death-defying stunts are plentiful when you're competing in a blood sport. Passively, Octane regenerates health just, over time. His active lets him stim himself really hard with a little bit of druggy drug, lets him move faster, and it also takes a little bit of his, actually now it's quite a bit of his HP away when he does it. And his ultimate is a giant pad that lets you soar into the sky, your teammates, enemies, whoever it was, at different angles depending on how you hit it. Luckily for me, Octane is a simple character, and making his lore a little bit more complex I think goes against his whole point. Octane's whole entire persona is about having fun, having a good time, enjoying himself, just enjoying that speed freak nature. Octane is not only just hilarious, really fun to have on your team, and has some pretty great lines, like how he talks about his legs cramping when he's driving a Trident. He's got no legs. I don't think I've willingly killed myself more with any other character than it is with Octane, because I throw a jump pad out, I see a team, I fly towards them because I'm thinking to myself, can't stop, won't stop, and do I die mid-air? Of course I do, but I don't know, being tactical, this doesn't feel like it's in Octane's nature.
Silly guy.
And it's too bad, too, because I feel like Octane is starting to get that rap that Wraith originally had, where all of the really hardcore sweaty players are starting to move towards him, because he does encapsulate a lot of very good aggressive play. Great AD strafing because of his extra stim, just increased speed in general, kind of a thin hitbox, and that ultimate is a great engage and disengage tool. Octane's kit, in a sense, is actually really, really good if you're thinking about Octane as a character. His kit matches his lore very well, and his lore is fun and flavorful. Which is unfortunate, because that means the fun-loving, exciting boy Octane is being played by, you know, those people, which are the exact opposite of everything Octane stands for. Personally, I think he's one of the best designed characters in the whole game. Now, balanced here and there, he gets buffs and nerfs every so often, but there are three major things that are important when it comes to creating a character. Good lore, good kit, and do they match? Octane, while simple, has some fun lore. His kit is very effective and strong, and his kit resembles his lore. It's the perfect trio. Honestly,
I would say that Bricky says this likely because, you know, I mean, yeah, it's good, but also because it's more streamlined. It's a very simple and effective kit, which is probably more ideal than an extremely complex one that very few players can actually master.
Honestly, Octane, while his name might get a little bit sullied because of all of those players, there are very few times where I see Octane and I don't get a big smile on my face. So go out there, play some Octane, have a good time.
That's a silly fence.
Hopefully things haven't soured.
Fence. That's a pretty fence.
Natalie Paquette, who was the daughter of, I'm going to assume it's Lou Paquette because the French don't pronounce consonants, who was the main electrical engineer behind the ring in the Apex games. She and her father were really close, and Natalie had a bit of a hard time understanding other.
Oh, as in the arena that they fight in, I guess.
People. Electricity, she got perfectly. So her and her father were both esteemed electrical engineers and scientists, but she had a little bit of a hard time relating with other folks. So her and her father had a really close bond, both through the family connection and through their work. The day the new ring containment field was unveiled for the Syndicate, her father passed away, and being the only family, the only friend that Natalie had, it was completely devastating. She was found deeply depressed and sobbing underneath a kitchen table with no other family or friends to speak of. When, at that point, 4 people came to her side: Bangalore, Lifeline, Gibraltar, and even Caustic, of all people, together came to her and offered her a hand and said, hey, we are your family, we are your friends, and as far as we're concerned, the games are your new home. Now Watson competes in the Apex games not for money, not for the excitement or the thrill. She does it because this is her new family. These competitors are her new friends, and she has no other place she'd rather be. Passively, Watson...
That is, that's incredible. Interesting, and, a little bit sad. I have no place I'd rather be than here, killing each other. For entertainment, no less. I guess, live like you want to live? From her name, I would assume that she probably has some sort of power that deals with electricity or technology, potentially regenerating shields for other characters or stunning other characters. Maybe. We'll see.
Slowly regenerates her own shields, and also ultimate accelerants will fully recharge her ult, not just a little bit. Her active allows her to place all of these fences that, when aligned together, create large electrical barriers that both slow and damage opponents. And her ultimate is an intercept pylon, which slowly regenerates the shields of nearby allies and I think enemies, and also destroys all projectiles coming her way. That's grenades, airstrikes, etc. Do not loot her. Stop it. Stop it right now. Do not loot Watson. Don't do it. Okay, this... All of this,
what people are gonna do with this,
be gone. Don't lewd my sweet French autistic girl. Watson is just so fucking adorable. She's so fucking adorable, okay? She's a sweet little French girl who I think Respawn wanted to kind of hint that she might have had some kind of either autism or ADHD, because it's talked about often she doesn't quite get people, but, you know, electrical engineering, she understands completely, and through her voice lines, she always talks about how lots of crowds bug her, and then too much noise makes her kind of freak out a little bit, and she likes the quiet, she likes the silence, so possibly she might have a slight little bit of autism or ADHD or Asperger's or something along those lines.
Somewhere on the spectrum.
That's not really the point. The point of Watson is that she's just so fucking cute. That's why you can't loot her, okay? Stop that. You got many other options. She just...
Okay. To be fair, I haven't really seen an abundance of Apex Legends stuff on cultured sites that I don't often visit. Yeah, totally. We kind of leave all of that to Overwatch.
Brings this smile on my face every time I see her, which is a little unfortunate because her kit, it's not really for me. She's a much more defensive legend. She's really good at holding down a spot extremely well and making it...
I mean, that makes sense with her ability to kind of like place a quote-unquote gate. It's kind of like area denial. And then the other ability is to regen shields for both you and, I think Bricky said, I think, enemies too. But that also kind of gets rid of all the grenades and airstrikes and stuff, so very useful, depending on the situation. This probably also isn't the legend for me. Not really good at the aerial denial stuff.
So that people can't really pull you out of that spot easily either. Her walls and fences and such are pretty good if you can put them in spots that allow them to be kind of hidden so that people can't run through doors without getting zapped and getting all the problems caused. Or even on the fly, if you're being chased and you can quickly pop a nice fence into like a window to stop anyone from advancing. Also, the intercept pylon is really, really good. That thing being able to just nullify massive amounts of abilities, Gibraltar Ultimate, Bangalore Ultimate, all of Fuse is extremely handy because those are abilities that are used to get you out of places, and Watson can place a pylon and say no.
And then say no.
We're staying here.
We stay.
See, Watson mains find a way to be a bit more aggressive with her intelligently. They can move their way up, drop the pylon, not just to stop projectiles, but to also keep their shields up so they can have continued gunfights back and forth. And they can use those walls offensively to be able to block off choke points, or if someone's going to try to get you, you could pop your wall real quick so they have to go one way instead of the other, and you can force them through like different choke points, kind of like Caustic a little bit. There are lots of really big brain ways you could use Watson. It's just, she's a little too defensive for my taste. If you're a more passive...
I guess big brain plays kind of fits into her character too, so once again, just good character design. I'm probably going to say that for every single legend here.
Player, if you're more of that person who's like, hey, I want to hold an area as opposed to running out there and seeking fights, I think Watson's actually a pretty good choice for you. Regardless, though, even though she's not really my cup of tea, she's such a fucking sweetheart.
I mean, I do enjoy defensive gameplay,
I'm always happy whenever I see her.
I cracked your securities in your face.
Tai Jude is a hacker and information specialist who worked with his foster sister for the Syndicate, doing things like creating drones to broadcast the Apex games. However,
information stuff,
he stumbled upon a special algorithm that can predict exactly who would win each and every single Apex game. This caught the attention of the Syndicate, and very quickly, his foster sister went missing. And by missing, I mean fucking murdered. With Tai Jun blamed for her death, he now needs to adopt a new face, a new name, and serves in the Apex games not only to try and get more answers, but also to exact his revenge. You know, Crypto actually has a lot more going on with his lore. There's a lot of stuff going on between Revenant, Caustic, Watson, etc. But if you'll forgive me for not understanding all of it, one, because it's about companies and the Syndicate and mercenaries and hacking and all this stuff, but also, what, are the 4 Crypto players out there going to be mad at me? Crypto's active as a drone that acts as a mobile camera.
I guess he's not the most popular character out there. We'll see. Maybe it's because of his kit. It's just not very useful or easy to use.
That he could fly around the place and scan things, know how many people are in the area, open doors, revive players, scan care packages, survey beak. There's like nothing this goddamn drone can't do. In fact, his passive involves more things his drone can do, and then his ultimate is a giant EMP shockwave that comes from his drone. Crypto is a coincidentally ironic character because he's Mr. Hacker Man. He's hardcore, angry Korean hacker guy who you never fucking see because no one fucking plays him. Okay, it's actually not that fair. Okay, listen, Crypto mains, like the 5 of you that are watching this video, okay? Crypto mains. Let's agree on something together, okay? Let's come to an agreement. Your character has 1 ability, not 3, not a passive, not an active, not an ultimate. 1.
It's the other abilities stack onto your drone, so it's technically speaking kind of just one thing. And I don't think that it's very exciting. This probably isn't for me, but I can't even say that I see the appeal of it.
And that's drone. Everything is drone. Everything revolves around drone. Ultimate is drone. Drone is drone. Passive is drone. And if that drone gets shot out of the sky,
you're just done.
Like, useless. You have to admit that your main, in all intents and purposes, is hindered by this fact that you are nothing but drone. Which is unfortunate because Crypto is not a bad character. Oh no, in fact, he's probably an extremely good character in the right hands, but you need to play Apex totally differently when you play Crypto. Crypto isn't aim related. He's not about pushing an opponent or having really great wingman headshots.
I feel like, yeah, it would be more up to coordination and obviously managing your drone. There's always going to be that character that kind of changes the way the game is played for anybody who plays that character, but then also if you like main that character, then you don't really pick up any skills to alternate to a different character. I guess it's always good to have a variety, and if people feel like they don't enjoy the gunplay of the other characters, and maybe they can try out something completely different here. It is just a little bit unfortunate that everything revolves, again, just around the drone, and if that gets got, then you kind of don't do anything else.
No, in fact, you stay back. You sit back and you spend time on your drone, looking around, scanning people. And there can be some really big brain plays you can do with Crypto, where you have the drone hovering above an area, therefore they're always being scanned, the enemy that is, and then you can go ahead and know exactly where they are and perfectly get headshots as they turn the corner. Or hell, having a great Crypto on your team and having them constantly scan different enemies while your two teammates push forward, allowing them to constantly be right there with their shots, and then eventually the EMP blast later on. Crypto is good. He's very good. It's just, you don't...
I think this would be much better in like a coordinated team, like a pre-made team of your bros that you guys know how to play with each other, rather than a group of randos.
Play Crypto like every other character, and to me, he's kind of boring because I always feel one step behind. I'm always late to the engagement, late to the fight, unless I've got an Octane on my team so I can immediately jump pad in. But even so, I always feel like I'm so behind when I play Crypto because I'm spending all of my time in the drone. And I either have one of two options: use the drone and all of its fancy abilities to assist my team, therefore making a 2v3 but with drone, or not have a drone, place it in a spot, hope it doesn't get shot down, and then try and push. And even then, there's so many ifs and buts. A good...
Oh, wait. Actually, maybe after doing the finisher, you get like a care package or something. I don't know why I haven't noticed it yet. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I'm just guessing from the gameplay in the background.
Good Crypto in a 3-stack with comms is fucking devastating.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
That's what I said.
The amount of information and power he has is insane, but he just feels either a little too slow and boring because you spend so much time in the drone, either too hindered because your entire life is drone, or at the end of the day, the skills you're learning are not Apex Legends skills that translate to other characters. Crypto is playing a whole different game. He is the most different of all the characters, not in a bad way, but she's just still really different. That being
very
said,
different, yeah.
Whenever I have a Crypto on my team who knows what they're doing, who's able to absolutely have the perfect scans, the best EMPs, the best comms,
teammate.
It is a breath of fresh air. It is amazing. I feel like I'm one step ahead of every other player in the game. And that is the power fantasy. So for those Crypto mains out there, the 5 of you that are just demigods with that drone and with his power, I say to you the exact same thing that my Atlanta, Georgia-born friend with his Korean-born wife always says to me. Kamsahamnida, y'all.
I'm not gonna...
That's great. Oh man. All right. Oh man. That really got me. Next one, Revenant. I think I've heard of this guy.
Make it quick. That would spoil all the fun.
Caleb Cross was human once, a hitman. People needed to die all the time, and
Is this one of those situations where they transferred the human mind into a robot body?
Caleb was really good at his job. One day, I don't remember how exactly, but Caleb ceased to be Caleb. He either was brutally injured, died, something like that. But he was the Syndicate's pride and joy. He was their hitman. So into a simulacrum he went, and into a robot body he goes, completely unaware of the fact that he is now a robot. Everything about his life lied to him. His reflection in the mirror, his skin, his apartment, his toothbrush, all of it a complete lie, a trick to make sure that he thought he was still human. Until one fateful night when he got a big piece of glass fucking shanked into his goddamn neck. And then he realized the truth of what had happened. He had died many, many times. And every time he died, he awoke again in a brand new robot body with his mind completely wiped, but not anymore. And how long has this been going on for? 300 years.
What?
He was a pawn, a tool used for the Syndicate and Hammond Robotics, and the people who did this to him were 3 centuries long dead. But that does not mean he will not get his revenge.
It's too late to kill the people who made me, but I can take it out on you.
That is a good voice line. That is a really epic voice.
His passive allows him to climb up and down things a lot faster and also have the same crouching movement speed as he has normal movement speed. His active is a silence ability that fires out in a little bit of bulb, stopping people from using their abilities. And his ultimate is a death totem, where by touching it, you don't get any shield, but by the time you actually get killed, you'll just be sent right back to the death totem instead of actually dying. Revenant's a pretty fucking metal character.
Wait, you can give that to your teammates too, right? So it's like Phoenix from Valorant, but for everybody.
No pun intended, a little pun intended. Not only is his voice fantastic, but when you consider his lore,
that's what I said.
He's actually got really well written lore, and he's got lots of good reasons to be pretty goddamn pissed off. It's an interesting, ironic variation of the psycho robot, because yes, he's a psychotic murdering robot, but he really wants to die. It's not where he just wants to kill as many people as he can. I mean, he kind of does, but he wants to have his life end. He wants his suffering to be over. As a character, he plays actually a bit passive, surprisingly. More passive than I'd like. Honestly, his passive feels really weak. I mean, if Valkyrie can fly up and down basically everything, and Revenant's supposed to be the stocky killer, why not just give him unlimited climb? Like, he should be able to do unlimited climb. It's not like his teammates can go with him. It just helps him a lot to get to places. His Q silence is pretty helpful. It's actually really detrimental when you get hit by it, but sometimes you're not able to aim it perfectly, and it's a little here or there sometimes. But his ultimate is easily his best part of his kit, and honestly one of the best ultimates in the entire game. You use the ultimate so you can run in there and deal as much damage as you possibly can, and then, you know, you get shot and you go all
suffer
the way
no
back.
consequences.
But even so, it does feel like people have taken the route of using it in very safe ways, like placing down the death totem and then using an octane jump pad so that even when they get sent back, they can just fly in again without really being attacked again.
That's a pretty awesome finisher. It just teleports behind you, says nothing personal, kid, and then snaps your neck.
It's weird. Revenant's kind of weird. I feel like his kit doesn't match his playstyle very much, or his lore at least. You expect him to be played like Octane, super hardcore in the face of the enemy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Given his lore being like a hitman kind of assassin, yeah, you'd think that he'd go in and be like absolutely John Wick, just destroying everybody. But instead, it's more of like kind of a little support kind of role with his silence as well. And it's not like he has extreme mobility either, so yeah, he's not fast or speedy. He just gets around a little bit better than most other people.
He's just brutal murderer, but he feels like this weird in-between where he's not necessarily like a Watson passive, but he's not as hardcore in the face of the enemy as he should be. Revenant feels a little weak, if I'm being honest. I feel like his death totem is fine, but I think his silence, as well as his like wall climbing, really needs some kind of update, because he just feels like he doesn't play like he should, like the crazy brutal robot he is. I mean, at this point, if I play Revenant, I'm playing him for his voice lines just so I can hear him be extremely mean to other people. But besides that, I don't know. Our boy Revenant, I think, needs some love. And I think Revenant mains, the few that are out there, probably agree.
I'm a man-eater and a lady
Oh,
killer.
well.
I enjoy
There we go.
variety.
Lucky for us, Loba Andrade
My God,
is
why is she so
much
thick?
easier to explain now that we got Revenant out of the way. Loba had both of her parents extremely painfully.
Wait, yeah, we just saw this in the cinematic. So Loba's the kid here, and Revenant came in and assassinated her dad, or her family, potentially.
Murdered in this cinematic you're currently watching.
Yeah.
There they are. There they are. They're dead now. Loba grew up with her foster parents, and like her actual parents, she was really good at stealing things. And that was what elevated her out of the gutter of society, was how good she was as a thief. Utilizing any and all attributes, whether that is a simple lockpick or some more fancier tools, other people, or even just her good looks and charm. She was able to get almost anything she wanted through sheer thievery. It wasn't until she broke into a really high security facility that she was able to fashion herself one of her translocating bracelets, which now allows her to teleport across the place by just throwing that bastard anywhere she wants, and really creating a pretty impressive arsenal of thief tools. But even with her ability to get pretty much anything she wanted and the high life in her grasp, that internal part of her wasn't satisfied because Revenant had now joined the Apex games, and that was the last thing on her bucket list.
Oh, is there potentially like some special voice line, or I think it would be cool if there was like a special finisher between the two. Although I don't think Revenant would have, you know, any grudge against her, but she certainly would against him. But I do think like a special voice line would be kind of cool, like they have in League of Legends, depending on like the pairing and which lane that you're playing in.
To take was that bastard's life. And hey, you know, if she can take some nice shiny things in the Apex games, why would she ever say no to that? The Loba Revenant dynamic is actually something that has been expanded upon quite a bit and is probably the best consistent expansion lore in the game currently. Revenant is now very aware of Loba being extremely upset with him for, you know, murdering her parents. And Loba is now very aware that Revenant actually wants to die. So instead of actually finding the source code and destroying it, she took it and launched it across the fucking galaxy, never to be seen again. So now all these years and all this time, Revenant has tried to find his source code so he can finally die. Loba just took all of that work and crushed it.
Oh, okay, I see. Oh, that's even worse than death. Yeah. The guy who wants to die can't die, and the person seeking revenge is keeping him alive. Yeah, that's a great dynamic. Love it.
And whoa, is he pissed. It's a very interesting dynamic where neither person really wants to kill each other, but hates each other's guts to a massive degree. Loba is very obviously the TNA character, right? The incredibly attractive, flirtatious character that everyone makes all the fan art about. But compared to the fan art characters in so many other games, they did a really good job at giving her solid lore and backstory to really make it seem genuine. She's the femme fatale. She's the wolf in sheep's clothing. And her kit does a great job with that because her passive allows her to see high tier purple and gold loot through walls. And not only that, but her bracelet lets her throw it and teleport just like you'd imagine. And also her ultimate is the black market, which is in a mobile marketplace that allows you to grab items from anywhere in a certain vicinity, including death boxes. That is a thief's kit. And now that the bracelet actually fucking works, it's a really good kit. And what's best about it is that if you want to thirst play Loba, if you want to play Loba just so you can look at hips that can shatter the fucking San Andreas fault, cool, because you're still really helpful to your team. She's a great team player. You have no idea how many times I've hot drop landed as Loba and immediately seen a purple shield and went to that instead of any of the other stuff around me. It has saved me so much. The bracelet is extremely handy just as a, you know, navigation movement tool. And the black market, no one can complain about the black market. Loba's a great team player. She's wonderful to have on your team. She's fun to have on your team, and she plays really well. Honestly, the only thing that really held Loba back for the longest time was that damn fucking bracelet that never goddamn worked. And now it's still a little bit buggy, but it's oh my god, it's so much better. Loba.
I see. Oh, I'm sure by now they probably worked out the kinks there. And as Bricky mentioned, this is quite obviously the thirst pick. But still, right? Like, it's just an extremely solid kit, and you wouldn't really be mad at anybody for picking them. And from my understanding of these games, you basically drop down into the arena, and then you have to, like, scrounge for whatever weapons or armor and ammo that you can find. That's kind of just littered around the entire arena, right? So having the ability to see the best things from afar, it's extremely powerful, considering everybody else just kind of has to pick a direction, run there, and then hope they find something good.
Mains, you have my respect. You are people who have stuck with her the entire time through all the thick and thin and are finally being rewarded for your dedication. I never complain when I have a Loba on my team. I never feel bad playing Loba. She is the perfect neutral character. She's never too overpowered. She's never underpowered. She's never a bad pick. She is a perfect medium, and they did her great justice.
Don't kill yourself over this. I'm already doing that.
Ramya Perek, I don't know, this doesn't matter. She is the Apex Rosie the Riveter. She is a mechanic, an artificer, a weaponsmith, an armorer.
Oh, mechanic.
She is all of...
let me guess. Turrets? Lots and lots of turrets?
The things that involves creating weapons of war. She is a standard blue-collar woman who owns a hardcore shop that people come to her when they need something fixed or they need a new thing to kill someone with. She's the mechanic that almost everyone loved and everyone respected something with her name on it. Almost everyone, at least. Until another group who apparently were not a big fan of her or her shop decided to burn it to the fucking ground and beat her ass.
Thanks.
She awoke her entire life's work in flames or ash with an Apex Legends invitation card right next to her face. And truly understanding the idea that it's not about the stuff you've built, it's about who built them. Rampart now joins the Apex games because now she's got plenty of people to test her new wild creations on. And as far as she's concerned, with her little bit of a psychotic side, something to fire a big gun at is a good day for her. Passively, Rampart loves LMGs, and LMGs have a faster reload speed and a larger magazine whenever she uses them. Her active is an amped wall, not the A wall from
Once again, if you're like looking around for loot, then you're also just not guaranteed to find an LMG, but I guess it's okay if you do have one. I don't know.
Titanfall, okay, way weaker than that. But it's an amped cover that's a one-way cover that increases the damage of your bullets going through your way, and though it can be shot and destroyed by enemies. And finally, her ultimate is Sheila, and a mobile, gigantic minigun that just unleashes a torrent of bullets anywhere she sets its eyes to. Rampart seems like she's a little bit lower on the end of lore right now, mainly because there's not a whole lot to her backstory. She had a shop, people liked her, shop burned down, hey, you want to join the games? And she's like,
yeah, it's pretty simple overall. As a character, I don't think that she's like best of the best out there. I guess she could be kind of fun, especially with her ultimate and just like spraying bullets everywhere. Pretty good for providing cover fire or pinning down an opponent, but otherwise, I don't really see anything too exciting going on here, but I could be wrong.
Like, yeah, hell yeah. She's got quite the wild side, and besides the fact that she's got major DTF eyes in the lobby screen, which always kind of unsettled me because DTF is not down to fuck, it's down to fuck you up with the goddamn full ammo Spitfire. Oh yeah, also Rampart and Mirage are roommates, which leads to some really interesting Mirage interactions.
Bloody thanks, crikey, mate. I don't speak English.
Basically, she loves guns. She loves to shoot guns. She makes walls to shoot guns better. She has a giant fucking gun as an ultimate. Rampart is when you just really badly want to shoot people with really big guns with lots of ammo. Obviously, she's a defensive legend, right? She makes one-way covers in areas. She has an immobile turret. She has higher magazines to provide suppressing fire on all of her LMGs. She's a very obviously defensive legend. However, I'd say she can be a little bit more aggressive than Watson. Not with Sheila, however. Sheila is definitely one of those, like, you need to have a lot of cover and you plant this minigun and then you go to town with it. But for everything else, yeah, you could run up to somebody and slam down a couple covers really quickly to give yourself a really good firing point for both you and your teammates, and then, you know, blast whoever's in front of you. The thing I like about Rampart is that for a while, she was considered the worst legend in the entire game. Like, she was considered terrible. But I always found myself winning as Rampart. Like, I got lots of wins specifically with Rampart, and it felt weird. But then I kind of backed myself up a little bit, and I reminded myself about how Battle Royale games are supposed to function. In games like Battlefield, Call of Duty, hell, even Titanfall, the FPS part of the game is the major 90% of it, the movement, the shooting, all that stuff. A lot of times people forget that in Battle Royale games, a large amount of it involves positioning. It involves having your back to the ring, knowing where is a good spot to set up shop and where are really bad spots to set up shop. The FPS parts are important, but they're like 60% of a Battle Royale game. There's a large amount of the game entirely dedicated to movement, to positioning, to ring knowledge. And if you take Rampart, perhaps some kind of recon legend to scan the survey beacons, and you're able to know where a really good end game circle is, and you set up a good spot, you're gonna be impossible to crack. And that's why I think I've won a lot with Rampart, is because I'm being forced to understand the movement game. I'm forced to understand the positioning game more because I'm playing a legend that rewards good positioning. I remember circles would end at Orbital Battery on Olympus, and then someone with a Rampart would just set up on the top blocks of Orbital Battery, and what am I going to do about that? I have to run through a giant open field. What in God's name am I going to be able to do about that?
Oh, God. Yeah, you were just reenacting D-Day. Oh, God. I did forget to consider that part. Yeah, that's a good point. Because the circle will always just enclose in and kind of force people into a certain position. So if you can get there first and set everything up, then you're kind of like one of the best at just gunning down anybody who's trying to take your position. It is kind of reliant on like getting to that position in the first place. But once you're there, and maybe you have somebody on your team who can like cancel any potential ultimates that are meant to get you out of that position, then yeah, I think you're doing pretty good. Don't really think it's for me though, but I can see the appeal in this one, actually. Yeah.
Rampart, okay? She and all of her teammates have either giant guns with increased damage or a big fucking minigun. Am I supposed to push that? Am I supposed to push that? With what? Oh God, imagine if you have a Watson on their team too. Slap the intercept pile on. You can't even grenade her out of the sky.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, just get something that cancels other ultimates, which I think was... Yeah, it's only Watson's thing that can do that. I guess Revenant also has his silence, but it's not as powerful.
I really think Rampart is a character that you should play if you're a little bit newer to the game, because they teach you the unsung importance of playing a Battle Royale game, which is positioning. I find myself doing better when I play Rampart because I'm learning the game at a more fundamental level instead of just aim, 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 wingman, 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 headshot, headshot, headshot. When you play Rampart, you're not playing COD or Titanfall or Battlefield, you're playing something where positioning really matters, and Rampart is the queen of that.
Spotted a drone. Dinna worry, Newt. You're cuter.
Dr. Mary Summers was a scientist. Well, still is, I guess, but she used to live on Olympus many years ago, and Olympus was facing a massive energy crisis. But she found out, along with her assistant, that you can actually solve that energy crisis by getting this special kind of crystal only available at the accretion disk of a black hole. So she set on out to go get that thing to save her entire city. It's city in the sky, really. After the crystals were on board, her assistant, who was either just a total bitch or jealous or whatever, I really don't care, she's long dead, cut her line so that she ended up orbiting the black hole. Now, with just some amazing Scottish mom energy, she turned a fucking Roomba vacuum into a fancy device to allow her to escape this black hole's orbit, but not fast enough, because being so close to a black hole for so long means that
because of space-time and gravity and whatnot.
87 years had passed, which means her as a mother to her son named Newton had watched her son grow up, grow old, and pass away, all within that short span of time for her, but 87 years for him. So now Dr. Mary Summers joins the games to fund her scientific research to learn how to travel back in time so that she could be with her son once again. And even though that story is fucking heartbreaking, Luckily, there is a silver lining because in one of the events, you can actually find a message that Horizon sends to her younger self saying that she was able to discover it, she did it, she reunited with her son, all that kind of stuff. So future Horizon has told current Horizon that you did do it, keep working hard, you'll get there eventually. Horizon's passive allows her to slip and slide and land with nice grace and ease thanks to her jump jet suit. Her active is a reverse gravity spire, sending her and her teammates upwards, and her ultimate is a giant black hole she throws the damn Roomba out with to suck enemies out of their positions. Horizon has Wraith and Octane syndrome. Horizon, for the longest time, was probably the most powerful, overpowered legend in the entire game because she is so fucking strong. Scottish Mom has everything. Thin hitbox, really good at being able to immediately engage after falling. No slowdown, nothing like that. Great movement potential for both herself and her team, and a fantastic offensive ultimate to pull people out of the secure area they're currently in. Overall, Horizon has everything an offensive legend could have, and more. She is so overtuned. And after multitudes of nerfs, she's still pretty fucking good. But even so, that has attracted the obvious players, you know, the Wraith players.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Players, which is so unfortunate because like Octane being such a fun-loving Speedy Gonzales, man, Horizon's just a sweet Scottish mom. She's a sweet, smart Scottish mother. And then she's got those fucking people playing her. Why do you have to ruin all of the really good people? Get the toxic players on Revenant, okay? Because at least his personality matches yours. Get them on Caustic, so the personalities flesh together. Why do they have to be on fucking Horizon? She's so sweet when I can understand what the fuck she's saying. Honestly though, like, she's so good. She's so good. She's got everything, the hitbox, the landing, the movement, the ultimate. She's got everything that you could ask for in a character. She is so good. And honestly, with a few more nerfs here or there, she'll still be really damn good. But I want to make sure that Horizon can stay at, let's say, great and not broken tier. She was broken for a bit. Now I definitely say she's probably pretty great. I'm not great enough at Apex to truly understand the perfect like amalgamations of balance, but regardless, I really like Horizon as a character. I like her personality, I like her design, I think she's a lot of fun and she's fun to have around, and so I hope that she can still stay really good, but not become, you know, that character. For everyone else, Scottish Mom is awesome, I love her, she's the best, play her.
Oh, you having a whinge, mate? Well, go on then, have a good suck.
Yeah, I wasn't really aware of the fact that her kit was broken from the onset. But I suppose the black hole being able to pull people out of position in a game where positioning is incredibly important would be kind of overpowered. Also, give me a second here. I think I'm going to move on to the other side of the screen. For this video, Bricky seems to be on the bottom right much more than the left. Alrighty. Yeah, sorry about that. I just realized.
Walter Fitzroy is a Salvonian, which is just space Australian, honestly. And he was friends, lifelong friends.
Oh my god. And then Bricky moves to the left immediately. Oh wow.
With someone named Maggie, or Mad Maggie. They were freedom fighters for Salvo. That's ironic. I never thought about that. Salvo, like bombs and shit.
Yeah.
Big governments, big companies, the syndicate, all these people hounded over Salvo. And Mad Maggie hated it every waking second of her life. And the two of them were freedom fighters growing up. They were constantly going through the dirt and scrap of their planet to constantly do whatever they could to make it so that they had control of Salvo, not the syndicate, none of these people. At least that was Maggie's want. Fuse just liked to fight. The syndicate provided a fantastic option to fight, but really Fuse just enjoyed the battle. He enjoyed the competition. He enjoyed the fun of it. Where Maggie saw a revolution, Fuse saw a gladiatorial boxing match. And eventually, as time went on, Fuse saw the best gladiatorial arena he could possibly join.
Well, yeah,
the Apex
Legends.
Ran by the syndicate. And Maggie didn't like this a whole lot. In fact, she really hated it that she blew off his arm with a grenade.
Jesus.
And Fuse, being the absolute giga chad that he is, was like,
what an argument.
Oh. Anyway, and now with a new robot arm, Fuse encapsulates every extremely, excessively stereotypical Australian stereotype you could possibly take, and it's fucking awesome. The main loves explosions, he loves beer, he loves hunting, he loves playing his guitar around a campfire, and he's 54 years old, ready to blast your ass to the past. In a sense, Fuse at the Apex games is home. Passively, Fuse can stack 2 grenades per grenade slot, and you can also fire them way farther and faster. His active is a cluster grenade that he can also fire from his same wrist-mounted
Ultimate's a really big explosion.
Robot arm provides, and his ultimate is a giant ring of napalm fire that he fires high up into the air to surround an enemy. Fusey is a blast to play. He reminds me a little bit of Watson in the sense that just seeing them gives me this big smile on my face because he is able to ride that line between being silly but making it fun. He's the fun-loving Australian stereotype uncle, and he has this way of creating like charm laughing. Because you even look at his select screen, right, where he throws a goddamn explosive behind him, winks to the camera, and then it explodes. That with anyone else would be seen as weird, awkward, or cringy, but not with Fuse. With Fuse, every time I see it, it just makes me giggle. All the things he says, all the things he does is great because Fuse does it. Because he just exuberates this charm, this fun, the fun-loving uncle at the bar.
I think if you have a character that's really all about explosions, you kind of have to have them be the more fun-loving one, right? At least that's how I've always imagined characters like this being. Either that or a little bit crazy. You know, both of those kind of work. From what I see of his kit though, it looks like another kit that's really good at breaking through defenses and kind of just forcing people out of cover. Especially with his ultimate, because I think that leaves a trail of fire because it's napalm. And so I'm going to assume that you probably take damage over time if you stay too long in there.
Bricky, that is his persona entirely, and he's just a blast to play. Now, for a while, Respawn was very adamant on saying that legends should not kill you with their abilities. Another one of the reasons why Caustic was nerfed the way he was. However, Fuse is one of those characters that you could tell they really didn't want to kill you with his abilities, so he feels a bit weak at times. Now, when the stars align and Fuse gets what he wants, like this clip I'm about to show you, oh, it's pretty great.
Okay, let's see this. Ooh, oh, stacking it. Forcing them out of their cover. And if they don't, they're probably just gonna die there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they're just gonna hide there.
But those clips aren't extremely often. He's getting some buffs now. He can now stack 2 grenades on his...
I see. I wasn't aware that the devs didn't want people to get kills through abilities. I mean, this guy literally throws explosives. They would be kind of difficult to, you know, balance around, especially if you literally got down by 1 grenade, because it's just hard to avoid. So, yeah, I don't know exactly how you would kind of circumvent that. But the previous clip was a really good showcase because, yeah, we used the abilities to force them out of their position, but also we were just kind of standing there with sniper rifles. So they knew if they popped their head out, they would just die. So it's kind of just a lose-lose situation at that point. For them, they were caught out of the position, and for us, we had the perfect character to kind of take advantage of that.
Cluster with his special active ability, but overall there are still some things that are holding Fuse back. Like, he can't use his ultimate inside an area, he can only do it outside because it launches upwards, and often I find myself either getting caught out or at a bad time whenever I fire my large amounts of grenades or my Q because I'm not, you know, shooting my gun during that period of time. It's not like I can just be firing my gun and then throw a grenade with my other hand. No, I have to stop firing to do it. So unless you're forcing people out of areas, which I do understand is kind of his point, it can feel a little bit tough to play Fuse in a direct 1v1 gunfight. That being said, early game Fuse is pretty terrifying. Firing that cluster grenade, let's say a pillbox that someone's gonna go try and loot, could actually be pretty devastating, or covering a door that they're trying to run through. Fuse mains main like Ridley. You know, not because they're great or overpowered or meta or anything, they're just like, I like that dragon. I've been playing Metroid for a while. I like Ridley. That's Fuse. I main Mirage because I think he's a lot of fun and because I like to flex on people using proper bamboozles. I play Fuse because I want to smile. I play Fuse because I just want to like throw out a couple grenades and just enjoy myself. Fuse is the physical personification of a family barbecue with a family you actually like. It's chill, it's nice, and overall it's good times.
That's a good way to put it.
Ugh, I'm starving. Is anyone else starving? I'm telling
Valkyrie
for some ramen right now.
Do I even need to cover Valkyrie? Do I even need to cover Valkyrie? Like, me, the Titanfall 2 fanboy? Do I need to cover? I'll cover Valkyrie.
Oh, wait, no. Valkyrie was mentioned at the very first part, yeah? Like one of the daughters of a pilot from Titanfall, I think?
Kairi Imahara was daughter to callsign Viper, a very wealthy and top-dollar mercenary for the Apex Predators. One day he left, and he never came back, because we killed him. She dreamed all her life.
Assuming main character killed him in like Titanfall 2 or something.
Of flying titans. But with that dream no longer really being a reality, she sailed for the next possible pilot position she could, spending all of her days smuggling cargo and making a good living during it, while spending all of her nights either gambling, drinking, or finding all the ladies in the room. But regardless of how she spent her days and nights, she was always entirely interested in getting to Blisk, the man who she believed killed her father. Not literally, but you know, ran the mercenary group and therefore in a sense killed her father through the mission that he put her dad through. Us who played Titanfall 2 know that's kind of stupid logic, but through like his daughter's eyes, it makes a lot of sense. You know, she doesn't know what we know as players. However, when she finally did get to confront Blisk, he spoke of her father with, you know, conviction, with impressive tact. And she soon realized the actual truth of the matter and settled for just the knowledge that she could have killed Blisk. Firing into his glass instead of him, the knowledge of knowing she could have done it was enough for her. So now she goes ahead and actually does what she's always wanted to do, to fly similarly to her father and compete in the games, doing stuff that he kind of did.
Wait.
She can compete in—
What? Please tell me her ultimate is like, it sends down a giant robot. I mean, that would make sense, right? I don't know if that would be allowed, but...
The game's now flying her new North Star and actually somewhat carry on the legacy of her dad. Passively, she can see other players flying down from the dropship or when she's flying down either way, like a jump tower or such, and also she can fly around just in general with some jump jets, because she can't shoot during—
I guess when you see the other players when you're dropping down, it's just good information to know like which areas are more clustered than others, so you can avoid them or choose to go there.
Her active fires a giant cluster of missiles that does damage and also disorients players, and her ultimate has her turn into a human jump tower for both her and her teammates, flying high up into the air. Now, Valkyrie definitely looked like she was going to be busted when she was first announced. All of her abilities look really crazy. I thought she was going to be a 5 out of 5 star Horizon launch character. She's not. She's very good, though. She's like a 4 out of 5. She's a damn good legend. Great movement, great reposition, not really much damage if I'm being totally honest, but that's not really the point of the missiles to begin with. She does not disappoint. She's not overpowered, but she does not disappoint. I really like what they've done with Valkyrie. She emanates her father quite a bit. Now, a lot of people have this idea that Viper was somehow a good guy. He's not. He killed a lot of people, and he also was serving for the mercenary group that served for the IMC, which was about to, you know, commit genocide.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, you might say, oh, he was just being paid for it. You have your morals. He may have been a good dad, so to speak, but being a good dad doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't murder a lot of people. Though Valkyrie really carries the same expressions as her father, and I really like that. The reason Viper has, like, both Boba Fett syndrome, because he barely had any like screen time in Titanfall 2, but the small screen time that he had was incredibly interesting because all the other Apex Predators were kind of savage or brash or angry, where he was calm and tactical. He was a much more professional mercenary compared to all of his compatriots, but he had this personality that no one else really had in the Apex Predators mercenary group, but he still had a little bit of a cockiness to him. For every single copy, move hard right, bearing 235, whatever, there was the other, you hear that ringing in your ears, son. And that is exactly how Valkyrie feels. Her voice lines remind me a little bit of Bangalore, where she's constantly like, copy, let's move to this zone. Let's much more military like pilot jargon, but she still has plenty of nice, you know, stick the knife in deeper voice lines to go along with it. She definitely is her father's daughter. This really feels like a passing of the torch in a way. Titanfall 3 is asked for almost daily, and honestly, I would love to see a Titanfall 3, but we're kind of, in a sense, past that point. Titans and the pilots, the military pilots, the famed demigod Jedi almost, are not a thing anymore. Bliss says it himself. The
demigod Jedi? Are they that powerful? I kind of need to know like a power scale here, because we did mention earlier that if pilots ever did enter the Apex games, then everybody would kind of just get bodied. Were they like genetically enhanced in some way?
Frontier wars are over. It's been decades. And really, when you think about it, the need for these military pilots just aren't a thing anymore. Blisk sure as shit isn't doing it. This kind of feels like a passing of the torch a little bit. Titanfall 3 is asked for day in and day out. Every single day, Titanfall 3 is asked for. And in fact, they ask for it a little bit too often and kind of in a little bit of a pissy fit sort of way, telling themselves over and over again that because we got Apex, we'll never get a Titanfall 3, besides the fact that that's obviously completely false and stupid, and there are many possible reasons why there might not be a Titanfall 3, such as Titanfall 2's disastrous launch. But Apex is fun. Is it a cash cow? Yeah. Does it have problems? Yeah, but compared to every other Battle Royale on the market, and even so, it's not just Battle Royale anymore. The arena modes are fun. They're actually really enjoyable and different. Well, different. I mean, it's CSGO, Valorant, whatever, but get the point. The lore.
Oh, I didn't know there were modes like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there is a Titanfall 3. They could have just finished their story. So like, why would they continue it with some uninspired shooter game? Just let the two games that were apparently really, really good just, you know, be there. And they were able to take the universe that they created and kind of shift it in a new direction. So, I don't know, I'm not complaining about it. But I guess I can understand if you're like a fan of the series. I can understand it from the viewpoint of a fan of XCOM, being like, oh, please, where's XCOM 3? And knowing that there's probably never going to be one. For a while, at the very least. Like, I'm sure that they're not going to abandon XCOM, but it's just sad.
The universe, the gameplay, all of it is miles ahead of every other Battle Royale out there. Even if we did get a Titanfall 3, it wouldn't be the same. It would have to be a prequel, or they'd have to create some kind of forced storyline to go along with it and randomly determine that the universe now has Titans again, and bada bang, bada boom. It really does feel like a passing of the torch. Valkyrie, she was related to Titanfall 2. She took one of the most popular Titanfall 2 bosses' Titans and has refitted it for her needs. The universe has grown. The dismantling of the North Star, the dismantling of the Frontier Wars story being fitted for the Apex games and the new story. It is the old blood, the old machine, and the new young competitor. It is the passing of the torch. It feels like Respawn is saying, hey, that's done. We did it. This is what we have now. Does that make me sad? Of course it does. I would kill for a Titanfall 3. But Apex is fun. Apex is well made, in the same position. And I can't complain if this game sticks around. If we get a Titanfall 3, I will be ecstatic. But if we don't, I won't be surprised.
Apex actually has a lot more going on than I originally thought. My understanding of it before going into the video was that it was just like a Battle Royale game, but there's actually a fair bit of lore going on in the background, as well as some really interesting and well-designed characters that fit their gameplay with their personality and their backstory. Of course, when you have a large roster like this, there's going to be some that are just better than others. But if you look at it overall, I feel like it's actually quite well designed and a lot of characters that seem really fun personally to me. Of course, this is just from an outsider's perspective and somebody who doesn't actually play Battle Royale games, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's what I think. If I had to pick a character to play, I'd probably go for the second guy that we were introduced to. I forget his name, but he was the tanky, much more defensive guy who gave your friend shield and stuff like that. Either that or potentially Watson. I feel like it's something that you just kind of have to try out for yourself, play a few games and see how you feel about it, you know? If you have any suggestions for me to check out when it comes to the Apex Legends lore or potentially other video game lores, I'm just super interested in learning more about stuff that I haven't really gotten into yet, then feel free to leave those in the comments and I'll check them out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed your time here and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Also, massive shout out to Bricky for explaining all of these legends to us. Please go and support him if you haven't already.